Hey guys, it is Dani and welcome to this update video on the tropics. And in this video we're going to be talking about the latest on Tropical Storm Nicholas, which is going to be making landfall along the Gulf Coast of the US. And we also have two more disturbances, and it is likely that by the end of this week we could be dealing with two or maybe another tropical cyclone. And so before I go into details, alright, so let us kickstart things with our disturbances. So first up is that disturbance that is located just off the coast of Africa. So this is designated as Invest 95L. And so as of right now, it is given a high 80% chance to develop into a tropical cyclone during the next 5 days. And it is given a 30% chance through the next 48 hours. So when it makes its way a bit more westward, it is going to be in a more favorable region that is going to be supporting development of it. And then we will eventually have this be in our next tropical cyclone. And it seems as though it could be a threat to the Caribbean based on what we're seeing here, but things tend to change and this disturbance is still pretty far out, so we'll have to wait and see what is going to be happening with it. And so let's take a look at it on satellite. And so here we have it, and we don't have a whole lot going on right now, but we are expecting that as time goes by it is going to be getting in shape. And so in terms of what our models are forecasting in terms of the intensity, we have just a few being available, but they all agree that this will become a tropical storm, one expecting that it will become a hurricane, and the hurricane is not impossible. So once conditions are favorable, then we will definitely have intensification taking place, but hopefully things are not going to be too bad with this disturbance. And so now let's take a look at the other one. So this one is not yet designated as an invest, and it is located in the vicinity of the Turks and Caicos Islands. And so we're seeing here that it has a 50% chance to develop into a tropical cyclone during the next 5 days. So if you're along the East Coast, you want to pay attention to this, because when this is making its way by, there is the possibility that impacts could be felt in your area, and it is likely that this might not become something very strong because it is going to be increasing in latitude, which means that it is going to be entering cooler waters, which inhibits significant intensification. So hopefully this won't be very strong, but regardless, if it is going to be making its way very close to land or going onshore, then it is going to be bringing some dangerous impacts. And so the next two names to be used for this Atlantic hurricane season are Odette and Peter. So if we have these two disturbances developing, then they will get those names depending on which develops when. So the time it takes for these systems to develop will determine which one becomes Odette. If we have 95L being developed first, then that will become Odette, and if we have this one developing first, that will become Odette. But it seems as though 95L is going to be the first to develop based on the probability of it becoming a tropical cyclone during the next 5 days. And so now let's go on to Tropical Storm Nicholas. So looking at the satellite imagery of it here, we're seeing that the cyclone is looking a lot better. It is over the western Gulf of Mexico right now, and it is getting quite compact, and it is going to be affecting the Gulf Coast of the US during the next couple of days. And so going on to the National Hurricane Center's cone forecast for it, we're seeing here that Nicholas has sustained winds of 60 miles per hour, and it is accelerating to the north at 12 miles per hour. So fortunately, it is not moving very slowly, but regardless, it is still going to be bringing some very dangerous impacts to Texas throughout most of today going into tomorrow. And then it is expected to weaken to a depression and make its way over into Louisiana and then into Mississippi. So guys, if you're there, please take necessary precautions and stay safe. This does not have to be something strong for it to be significant. And as of right now, we do have watches and warnings that are in place. So we have a tropical storm warning, which is highlighted in blue, that is in effect for all of the coastline of Texas, and there is also a hurricane watch that is in effect for some areas. So there is a hurricane watch that is in effect for Port Aransas to San Luis Pass in Texas, and so those areas can experience hurricane-like conditions, even though we're seeing here that a hurricane is not anticipated from Nicholas, but it could have wind gusts up to or near hurricane strength. And so the maximum expected intensity from the National Hurricane Center is 70 miles per hour power, but I wouldn't be surprised if Nicholas manages to become a brief hurricane, and so regardless, it is going to be bringing dangerous conditions. So again, please take the necessary precautions and stay safe, especially if you're under that watch or warning. And so let's take a look at what our models are forecasting. So we have quite a bit of available models here, all of them expecting that it will not achieve hurricane status, but will remain as a strong tropical storm, and then it will gradually to rapidly weaken as it accelerates more inland, because of course it is going to be cut off from its fuel, which is the warm ocean water. So without that, we will have weakening of the cyclone, guys. And so in terms of the track of the system, we have our models agreeing that it is going to be making its way into Texas and then moving over into Louisiana, going into Mississippi and up into Tennessee. So those areas can all expect some very heavy rainfall as a result of the storm. And so let's go on to the rainfall potential map, and the different colors here, they mean different amounts of expected rainfall. So we have that light green shade meaning 1 inch of rain, the darker green meaning 2 inches, the yellow being 4, the orange being 6, the red being 10 inches of rain. So let's stop right there, and we see that most areas that are along the coastline are expected to have up to about 6 with some isolated 10 inches of rainfall. So we see areas such as Corpus Christi, Houston, Lake Charles being highlighted as areas that are going to be getting some significant rainfall as Nicholas is going to be making its way by. So again, please take necessary precautions and stay safe. I can't emphasize this enough because we've seen how much we have some coastal flooding as a result of tropical cyclones, and they result in some widespread devastation. And so finally, let us take a look at how conducive conditions are in the Gulf. So of course, let's take a look at the wind shear map. So the different colors here, they mean different shear intensities. So we have the green that means favorable wind shear, that is what encourages intensification. We have the yellow that means neutral shear, won't be too impactful on our systems, and the red means unfavorable. So whenever you have a lot of unfavorable wind shear being present, that is when we won't have much intensification of our tropical cyclones, because that strong wind shear usually just cut off our thunderstorms and just rip up our systems. And so we're seeing here that it is in a region that has some unfavorable shear, so that is the only reason we don't have much intensification right now. That shear that is setting in, without that shear we would definitely be having some intensification, or potentially even some rapid intensification as Nicholas makes its way towards the Gulf Coast. So fortunately, the shear is not so favorable to accommodate that, and the system is going to be weak but still going to be impactful. And so that is it for this update video on the tropics, and I will keep you updated as time goes by. And so if you found this video to be quite informative, please give a thumbs up, and you can also share your thoughts with me in the comments or ask a question. I will try to respond as best and as soon as I can. And just remember to always be weatherwise.